Beneath the sky, made a promise I could not deny. Through the fire, through the rain, through the sacrifice and pain. Far from home, yet standing strong, holding hope when nights were long. Every step, every scar made me who I am today. And though the battles changed my life, they never stole my soul. The courage of a warrior still lives inside my bones. We are the legacy, the voices of the brave, standing on the promises of every life we gave. Through duty, honor, sacrifice, our story still remains. We are the legacy, and our light will never fade. Some carry memories no one sees, silent battles on their knees, but every tear and every fight helped another find the light. Now we gather hand in hand, sharing stories across this land, passing hope from heart to heart, a legacy that won't depart. The uniform may be laid aside, but the mission still goes on. Through every story that we tell, a new generation grows strong. We are the legacy, the voices of the brave, standing on the promises of every life we gave. Through duty, honor, sacrifice, our story still remains. We are the legacy, and our light will never fade. Hey, from the battlefield to the written page, our stories echo through the age. For every veteran, every name, the world will know why we came. And when the final roll is called, we'll stand united, proud and tall, because our service never ends. It lives through every life we made. We are the legacy, the guardians of the flame, bound together by our service, forever honored in his name. Through duty, honor, sacrifice, our stories lead the way. We are the legacy, and our light will never fade. Sworn to duty, called to serve, bound by honor, remembered forever. We are the legacy.
Yes, yes, yes. Welcome to My Heart on Pages. I am your host, Dr. LaQuita Parks. I am the CEO and founder of PayProV Publishing, and PayProV is Pain, Progress, Victory, because I believe without pain, there is no progress, and without progress, there can be no victory. So this is, I'm so excited. We have been doing a series of interviews with the contributing authors of Everybody Has a Story. Everybody Has a Story. And I have been talking about her through every interview. This lady right here, Ms. Inez. She is the brainchild, the visionary behind Everybody Has a Story. Hey, lady.
Good evening, Miss. I would say Kwee, as we say. My girl Pearl.
My girl Pearl, Kwee. Okay. I'm so excited to talk to you. It's like we don't have a lot of time to talk anymore.
No. I'm back to work now as an old woman, as an old lady, but trying to get them coins together so I can retire at probably 96. I'm not
Well,
sure.
well, girl, listen, you look good, honey.
Thank
You
you.
look good. Black don't crack, they say it.
Yeah, but grease don't crease either.
Say it don't crack, but it get old. It
It
does
gets
get old.
smelly. It starts to smell it.
So tell everybody who you are and where you're from.
I am Miss Inez. I am the visionary of Everybody Has a Story and Everybody Has a Story. I'm originally from Washington State, as they say, Washington State, Spokane, Washington. And I migrated, traveled, got married, moved to Tampa, Florida, which I've been now 21 years. But sorry, Spokane is still my home. It will always be home. And so here I'm is, as they say, here I am.
Okay.
And so I'm, I'm just excited to be here and to be amongst friends and to be in the company of Miss LaQuita Parks, who is a wonderful publisher. She's published, let's see, many books, and she has many more to come. And so if you ever need a publisher, please look her up to hook you up. But she's wonderful. She's done 3 of the books that I've been associated with. And guess what? They've all been bestsellers. And it's all due to dedication, to love, to hard work, to staying up late at night to catch this. I don't know about that because I'm asleep. So, hey, I owe it all to her. How did we do? Are we #1 bestseller? Yay! Okay, I can go back to sleep now. But she did it along with the other authors of the book. There's I think a total of 21 authors in this anthology. And I'm hoping, praying, and really wanting to have this as volume 1 and maybe have volume 50 come through with different categories and different people coming through with their stories. Because, hey, if you're alive, you have a story, and stories sell. So, you may not think, like I said, you may not think anybody wants to hear about what you've done, how your story is, how your life has been, but shoot, the trauma, drama, things that people have lived through, gone through, man, this here book is a start. And, I want to go into different communities as well. How come yours looks better backwards? Mine looks all backwards and everything else. Mine looks all. See, look.
I don't know why it's backwards.
Because I'm backwards.
Somebody said today, one of the ladies said today, she said the book, her book came in, and the way that they just threw them all in the box. So a part of them was damaged. And she said, the publisher damaged my book. I said,
don't put that line on her.
The publisher did not damage your book. I said the printer damaged your book. They did that. Well, it wasn't even the printer. It was the people who packaged it.
Right.
They didn't have any paper or anything. They just threw all the books in there. They didn't have any of the, the paper to cushion it so that it won't move. They just threw it all in the box. So I said, we'll take care of that. But you know what, Inez, I was in every interview, I'll say this is the brainchild of Miss Inez. I said, I remember when we were working together from, she said yes. You were like, everybody has a story. Everybody has a story. It's like, girl, you got to do that. You got to do that. Then we got to our journey from girls to women. And he was like, everybody has a story. Everybody has a story. It's like, okay, we need to go ahead and do it. And how does it feel to have it come to fruition?
Well, they always say dreams come true. This wasn't a dream of mine. This was just something I always said. And somebody, her name, I think is LaQuita, pushed me to this.
That would be true. That would be true.
Here he is. And so sometimes you just need that push, that person who believes in you to make that dream or make that reality, a realization of realities. What do you always say, LaQuita?
Making your taking your thoughts from taking your story from a thought to a realization.
Correct. And that is exactly what 21 of us did in this anthology. And so you know, and it's just like you just don't know whose story you might read. You just don't know whose adventure you might find yourself in. You just never know. And in this book, I mean, you got to get it. And if you don't get it, that's on you. But
That's your
hopefully, hopefully, because they come in paperback and hard copies. So I got mine. I got my hard copies one day, and I got my paperbacks yesterday. It's like Hercules, Hercules, Hercules. But I'm
and they're
just so
both
happy.
beautiful. And I just have to say they are both beautiful. This is a paper and it's my proof copy, and this is a hardcover. And
Mhm.
they are both very beautiful. And the stories, I I sit where a lot of people don't sit. So I get to read everybody's story before everybody else gets to read each other's stories. And
Correct.
so I have a chance to, to meet with each author and go, ooh, wow, did this really happen?
Mhm.
To,
Tears.
to give the
Mhm.
feedback and to give the critique and to give the, the coaching, and, try this, try this, not that. Don't sound too, when I interviewed Erica Walker yesterday, and she said she appreciated me for, when she told a story, I was like, you don't want to make it so preachy,
Mhm. Mhm.
because everybody has their own walk, but you don't want somebody to read your story and it's like, who she thinks she is, she preaching to me, but you want your audience to receive it. And
Mhm.
even with an anthology, and we've talked about this before, even with anthologies, even though it's a chapter that you're writing, you still have to write to your audience, because everybody reading this book, your person is going
Mhm.
to resonate differently to your story than they might to my story. And that
Correct.
means that person is that's your audience. That person is going to connect with you, and they're going to find you for the next thing and the next thing. And I truly believe that. So, Miss Inez,
Yes, ma'am.
what inspired you to share your story? And
Um,
well, before you say that, tell us the name of your story.
my story is I'm always having come up with something. God knows me, and now so do you. And so, people want to know about you and what you've done, what you've gone through. Why is your story so special? It's not that it's special. It's just that it's words on paper, and how you interact with those words on the paper. That's up to you. And then that may make somebody else, well, heck, if she could do that, then I can do that. And yes, you can do that. Maybe you've been through a trauma. Maybe you've been through a drama. Maybe you might want to write about your grandchildren, your children. You may want to write about your house. You may want to write about different things. But how it comes to me is like, so that people knows me inside and out. They have this. This is it. This is right here, right here, right here, and it's like, I'm not trying to hide, because, eventually in the end, it's all going to come out in the wash, clean, dirty, or otherwise. But it's just that, somebody, oh, what makes you so fascinating? Well, I'm not all that fascinating. I don't think I'm fascinating. I just think I'm me, and that's who I'm is. But, and so, so you just, once I broke it down, I started off with, the trip, I was born in California, at Travis Air Force Base, California. We did a journey to Spokane, Washington, where I lived there 11,000 years. And so from that journey, even then, the trip as a baby, I got thrown out, was thrown from a car when we hit a patch of ice. I didn't know it, but that's the story that they told me that I can remember. And so I started from my head all the way down to my ugly toe.
I love that. And so you took it literally.
Literally.
Everybody has a story. So what you did, and I love what you did, you went from every what we call flaws, every
Right.
flaw, every scar, and you told the story of where that came from. And
Exactly.
I love that. I love that. And so we're not going to tell the story because you have to buy the book, okay? You're not gonna
Right,
tell
right.
the book.
That's
But I
right.
I love that, because and you know what that made me think about, it made me think about my own
Mhm.
scars, my own flaws. I remember being very, very self-conscious about my leg. And
Uh-huh.
I remember dating this guy, and he said, that's the best part of you.
See there? You
And
don't know what
I was like,
everybody
what?
else sees.
What?
You don't know.
Exactly. He was like, that's the best part of you. What it and it's your differences is what makes you beautiful. And
Right.
so while you know we're sometimes looking and I'm still guilty of that. You and I've had this conversation. You know, somebody's like, "Oh, your skin's so beautiful." And I'm like, "Oh, I got, you know, circles under my eyes.
Moles, circles,
I got my
pimples, scars.
yeah, it's like your hair is beautiful." Oh, well, but it feels like and so just say thank you, LaQuita. Just
That's
say
it. Just
thank
say,
you. Just say
mhm.
thank you. But those flaws that we call flaws, somebody else calls beauty.
Right, right. Our beauty are our scars. I think
Yeah.
that is, yeah. Beauty are, and there's a song that we used to play for Blog Talk Radio, and that was one of them. I even have a shirt. Is what does it say? I am ugly, UGLY. You know,
Hmm. I remember
and
that.
you know, and I still have those shirts and stuff. So and you know, because ugly to me is uniquely gorgeous like you.
Hmm.
For the men, uncommonly good looking, yeah. And
Hmm.
then for those people in churches, it's unconditionally God loves you. So if you
Hmm.
want to purchase a shirt, let me know, and I'll you know crank up the old printer and get those
Absolutely.
back up because um, you know you never know what somebody is going through. You
Hmm.
never know what impact you may have on somebody else's life until you sit down and talk to them. I am now working as a restorative nursing aide. I wanted to be a nurse when I was younger. I wanted to have 10 children. I have, I do have 10 children. I have what do you call it? What do I call those children?
You
Not
play
bionic. Huh?
you play children.
No, 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 no. I call them, no, shoot, not bionic children, but oh, shoot. Anyway, I
Yeah, because
have
you got me lost. I don't know.
It's okay. I have one daughter and 0 sons. So that's my children. So I got my 10 children, but I can't think of what I usually call it. And so I got my 10 children. I got a grandson, so I guess I got 11 now.
Hmm.
But you just don't know what people are going through until you sit down and listen to what they have to say. And I say,
Hmm.
oh, my life is boring. You don't never know until you sit down around a fire, campfire, on a couch. I call my couch the conversation couch because I
Yeah.
have people come through here. Next thing you know, we up here laughing, crying. Don't even know this person from Adam's Eve because I be inviting folks over here and it's like, whatever. But you all need to tell your story. Even as I said the other day, and I think the live, I said, hey, start journaling, because you don't know what you may want to leave your grandchildren. You may want to leave your children something,
Yeah.
recipes, old stories and old stories from the great greats that,
Right.
we passed down. My mom made us a book of her stories and journaled everything of grands, great grands, people that we would have never known until she put them on paper.
And
So
see
you
that we didn't have that. We didn't have
no,
that. My
no,
grandmother
no.
that's a regret. I wish I knew now
Mhm, mhm,
then what I know now. I wasn't a publisher then when she died. It wasn't even anything that I had ever considered. But
uh-huh,
I really, really wish I would have been able to capture because my grandmother had a lot of stories and she did a lot
yes,
community and she was a baker, she was a cook, she made cake, she cooked for the community. That's what she did
mm,
for a living. And I wish I would have been able to capture that. And so that's why it's so important to write your story. Some people are like, oh, I don't want to do it, but it's more than hoarding your story. And
right,
I am really, really serious about not being a hoarder of your story
mhm,
because even if you don't have to publish your story, you can write it, but leave a legacy for your children because in
right,
20 years, what are they going to remember?
mhm,
What
mhm,
are you going to remember? And that, what you put down on paper is what people remember.
exactly. Because I had my little nephew, he came and he said, Auntie, what are those stories that you wrote about Nana and Papa? I thought, huh? What story? I didn't write stories. I used to write poems about my mom and dad, their birthdays and things like that. My dad would have been 96 yesterday. I didn't write anything because I probably have written so much already about him, but I just like to, at least give a shout out to his birthday and so on and so forth. And it's like, and so I sent him the poetries that I had written, each year for them, for my mom, for my dad, and my sister, and so on and so forth. And he said, that's what I'm talking about, so that his kids would know about their great grands and everything, because otherwise they don't have anything. They don't have anything because nobody shares anymore. Nobody sits down like what's the name? Like they did at the Browns reunion, or the on TV, where they had the elders come around and start telling stories. We don't have those. We're too busy. We're living that fast life. Everything's gonna die. And it's like, man, I wish I knew. I wish I had this recipe. I wish I knew, where I came from. Somebody may be adopted. You just don't know until you sit down and just realize, like, wow, I don't know nothing about my past. I don't know nothing about this, that, and the third. Then you go to 23andMe, and do that. Is that real? Is that, Memorex? Is it live? Is it, you just don't know until you sit down. And I mean, those generations are almost gone now. So who do you have to tell those stories? Who do you have to tell those stories to? Who do you have to hear those stories from? Nobody. I mean, unless it was written down in books. And what do we do now? Technology.
And we have to create our own narratives because history is being rewritten.
Yes.
And it's not being rewritten in a way that's honest.
Right.
So we have to create our own narrative and leave a legacy. And it's more than leaving a financial legacy.
Correct.
It's more than that. You have to leave a legacy, because even with, I remember my daughter calling me when she was expecting one of them. And she was like, Mom, did we have, is there a history of this? Even to know, do I have a history? Because that's what they're going to ask you. If you're going to the doctor and there's some kind of issue you're having, they're going to ask you, is there a history of this in your family? Well, if you don't know your history, if you haven't had those conversations, you don't know.
Exactly. You don't know. It's like, I don't know. Nobody ever told me about my grandparents. Nobody ever told me about my parents. I don't know. I was adopted. I didn't know I was adopted. So I don't know anything. So this is like a new chapter in my life. So, people out there who are listening, start journaling, start writing, leave something for, the next generation and the generation after that. And even if we become, what do you call it, robots or androids or whatever, I'd be watching too much sci-fi, but at least at least you can get that. Remember the movie Recall? We don't have that information. Some people do, some people don't. And I was just fortunate to be able to have that information passed into the book about this thick, that my mom, pictures, poetry, little things, little snippets of, things in her life and time in her life, my dad's life, information about us, my grands, my great grands, and pictures of them, that we would never have. But now that she's written that and given us all, 5 of us, that information, we have something to fall back on. But if I didn't have that, I wouldn't have been able to write this that I wrote, So everybody has a story. Even, I don't care how grandiose or how small you may think it is, start writing it down. So, and then have your children start writing things down, like, we used to write, baby lost first tooth this day, baby got first boo-boo this day.
In those big Bibles.
Yes.
The birthday of everybody's birthday, when they were born, when even when somebody died,
right,
recorded. We don't do that anymore.
And not only that, now I've lost everything. Now I had 3 storages. I lost everything in those 3 storages. I don't even have the Bible. I don't even have that information anymore. I'm devastated, but I'm just glad that I do have that information that my mama left me. I kept that, and it's like, man, oh man, they may just be things to some people, but that's just, that's what makes me me. That's part of my heritage, part of my life, my legacy. But hey, I'm just saying.
Okay, so let's I want to share the dedication, and then I want you to read just the snippet, because you're the visionary.
Okay.
And I want you to read just a snippet, just a little snippet of whatever you want to share from your part. But I want to share the dedication.
Okay.
Everybody, this is a dedication for everybody has a story. Everybody has a story. Some are spoken loudly, some are hidden behind smiles, some are carried in silence for years. This book is dedicated to every person who has ever wondered if their story mattered, to the ones who have experienced heartbreak, loss, rejection, illness, disappointment, trauma, insecurity, shame, or moments that tried to break them, and to the ones who kept going anyway. This anthology was created to remind you that there is power in your voice, healing in your truth, and purpose in your journey. No matter what life has looked like for you, your story deserves to be heard. And yes, everybody has a story too. The scars, the struggles, the diagnoses, the limitations, the victories, the growth, the tears, the resilience, all tell a story worth sharing. Our hope is that somewhere within these pages, you will see a piece of yourself and realize you are not alone. Keep speaking, keep healing, keep becoming, because your story still matters.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
that
yes,
was
yes.
that was nice. I don't know who wrote that dedication, but she did a great
I think her name was her name LaQuita.
job. If she must say so herself, that's what my friend would say. If you would say so yourself. My grandma
No,
used to
that's
say, "The
right.
poor dog that won't wag his own tail."
Hello, that part right
Hello,
there.
hello,
That
wag, wag, wag,
wag,
wag.
wag, wag, wag. And the gentleman who wrote the forward, I mean, he captivated.
Oh, Curtis Rivers.
OM Jesus. I don't
Yes,
I don't know if he's listening, if he heard, but man, I mean, even just a part of that. Can I just a part of that?
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
And this is the forward, like Laquita says, from Curtis Rivers. It says, there comes a moment in every human life when the mask grows heavy, when the smile we have perfected no longer fits. A time when the stories we have carried about who we are, what we have survived, and what we deserve begin to whisper that there is more to uncover. This book lives in that moment. Everybody has a story, and everybody has a story is not simply a collection of chapters. It is a gathering of courage, a tapestry of lived experiences that it reminds us that behind every composed exterior lies a deeply human journey shaped by trauma, triumph, illness, faith, survival, and ultimately transformation. If you are holding this book, which I am, in your hands, it is not by accident. Whether you realize it or not, you too have a story and your body is carrying it. I know this is not as theory, but through lived experience. But you have to read the rest of it. Oh my goodness. I don't know if the man was walking next to me, inside me, whatever, or he looked from me from above and said, "Oh, I think I wrote write this." Perfect, perfect, perfect,
Yes.
perfect. So,
Thank
oh,
you, Curtis Rivers. Thank you.
yes,
Curtis
yes,
is in
yes,
he and
yes.
he is in London. So there are people from all over the world in this book, in this project. And Curtis is from London, and just such an amazing person that I had the opportunity to work with and collaborate with through I Am Magazine. And when I
Mhm.
asked him, he said yes, just like that. He didn't even
Yeah.
hesitate. He did not even hesitate. So thank
But the
you.
question is, who hesitates when you ask?
I wish I could say,
Nothing.
I wish I could say, I wish I could say, oh, nobody, but yeah, it's a lot of hesitation. But I thank you for not being one of those that
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, whoa, just the way you ask, because Laquita believes in you and she believes in your story, and she brings out the best of you, the worst of you, all of you, some of you, just pieces of you, and it's wonderful because you don't know what's in you until it comes out.
that's right. That's
And
right.
once it's out in the open, it feels so good. It's like I probably was one of the last people to give her my entry. It's like, oh Lord, I don't even know what to write. I have no idea. Blah, 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 blah. But once it came out, I was like, oh yeah, oh wow,
Brilliant. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Very,
You
very
know.
good. Very good. Inez, I appreciate you for saying that because, sometimes it's a lot. It takes a lot to put together. First of all, it takes a lot for the author to write their stories.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a lot for the publisher too. It's a lot. And the reason I say that is because you've written your story. And so when you think about an anthology, the publisher is digesting everybody's story. So
Right.
there are 21 people, including my own story. We have to digest it and make sure we're reading it from a standpoint of, we're not being critical, but you have to read it from an editing standpoint.
And that's
And,
hard.
and it's hard because you know what you intend to say because
Mm-hmm.
you said it in your head. But when it gets over to this way, it's like, okay, that don't sound right. I think I know what you're trying to say, but it doesn't sound right. So you gotta go back and forth with, is that really what you want to say? If it's really what you want to say, okay, but how about this way? How
Yeah.
about, and the idea is not because I'm trying to change your story. The idea is because you don't want to, number one, you don't want to offend your audience. You never want to offend your audience. And number two, you don't want to confuse your audience. Because
Mm-hmm.
I've read stories that have been like, I'm like, wait, where are we going? I've read stories where you took me to the door and then you didn't let me in. You didn't let me go through the door. You took me and you left me hanging. It's like, wait, what were you trying to say? And then you talking, I was like, how is this relevant? And then we get through all that.
Uh-huh.
We get through the whole kit and caboodle of it. And then
Mm-hmm.
we get a beautiful masterpiece where
Yeah.
everybody's story has purpose, and all of these, what I love about this, and I love working with people, but what I
Mm-hmm.
love about this is that everybody's story is different.
Correct. And how
Every
they tell
single
it.
story, how they tell it is different, even if there are similarities, because there are some disclaimers, and I shared that earlier. There
Mm-hmm.
are some disclaimers, there are some trigger warnings, and we put the disclaimer before the story. But even those stories are different.
Mm-hmm.
They both, they experienced abuse, and there were people who experienced abuse, but it was different.
Right.
It
Each
was
time.
different. It doesn't remove the emotions, it doesn't remove the hurt from it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's different. So that's what I love about the stories. Everybody's story is different. So you want to share some of your story?
I'm gonna start at the top.
Okay.
Okay. And this is and this is called Head and Face. I'm gonna start my body story from the top of my head and go to my feet. I had a head full of curls, and how I wish it would have stayed that way. But you just never know what your hair will do once you grow into it. How many of you remember growing up as a black child and your mom would have you sit between her legs after she washed your hair and parted it into puffs, knots, or twists? You would have to sit under the dryer for what seemed like hours so she could press your hair with that pressing comb laid on the stove. And she would dab that blue grease called Blue Magic, Ultra Sheen, Bergamot, Dax Pomade, or the one in the red container called Royal Crown. Oh, we, uh, she would have you hold your ears so they don't get burnt. But if your hair was still damp in some places and mom got too close to that scalp, or the grease got too hot and it melted, it would burn you anyways. Sometimes I would fall asleep, and the next thing you know, I would have a nice burn either on my forehead, ear, or the nape of my neck. Then came the cocoa butter stick, or what looked like a Hershey's chocolate bar. A piece would be broken off and slathered on the burn so it wouldn't leave such an ugly scar. You got to buy the book.
You
Hear the
gotta buy the
rest.
book to hear the rest. You gotta buy the book
You
to hear
got
the
to
rest.
buy the book. You
And
got
when I
to.
was reading that, I was laughing because I remember all that. I
All
remember
that.
the blue, that blue magic. I remember the
The
crown
blue
royal
magic,
was in it. The
the royal crown,
the royal crown was in a red like
red
tin.
and green
Uh-huh.
something. Yep.
10. I remember that. I remember. And I
I
remember
still
those
have
days.
some.
See, I haven't used it in years. I remember those days when you're sitting there and you're getting they doing the straightening comb and and then they try to get the back and
You
stop it. I'm not gonna burn you. And before they can say they good,
lie.
you get
That's
burned.
a lie.
Burn up. How many times have you caught that? Have you worn that burn on the tip of your ear?
Yes.
Yeah, and hold your ear, You're holding it scared. Don't burn my ear. Don't burn.
Mhm. And
I
then
don't remember.
and then your hand slips off, and you do one of these numbers. It does like this. I was like,
Yep.
dang, ow.
Yep, they got too close. The heat. It's like, oh, and listen, and you better not yell and scream and complain.
That part.
Don't do that. Don't do that. I want to share. So from the publisher,
Uh-huh.
I'm also a contributing author, and I want to read just a tiny bit of my story. And so my story, Walking Limitations, I keep talking about walking limitations because it's my story.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But the walking limitations manifest into different things, and it goes all over into different areas of my life. So my chapter is called "When My Walking Limitations Became a Blessing in Disguise." And sometimes you have to see the blessing. You have to see the masterpiece in the mess. So I'm going to share just a little bit. When pain speaks first, there are days when the pain speaks before I ever say a word. It's not quiet. It does not wait its turn. It does not ask permission. It shows up fully present before my feet ever hit the floor. I remember one particular morning, I opened my eyes, and before I could even stretch or shift my body, I felt it. That deep, aching, relentless pain that has become all too familiar. It moved through my legs, settled into my joints, and wrapped itself around my movement like a weight I could not ignore. It is the kind of pain that demands your attention. And in that moment, I had a decision to make. Do I stay where I am and allow the pain to dictate my day? Do I give in to what my body is telling me? Or do I find the strength to move anyway? Because moving is not automatic for me. It is intentional. Every step requires thought. Every step requires effort. Every step requires faith. People often see the walk, but they do not understand the story behind it. They see movement, but they do not see the preparation. They see presence, but they do not see the process it took to get there. There are days when just standing feels like victory. There are days when walking from one room to another requires more mental preparation than most people could imagine. But what I have learned is this: pain may speak first, but it does not get the final word. You got to buy the book to hear the rest of the story.
You know we're wrong.
Listen, and if you are in the Atlanta area on Saturday, the Miss Inez, the visionary, will be in Atlanta in Forest Park, Georgia, where we will be having our book signing event. Okay, it'll be a book launch, a book launch event, and it's more than a book launch. It's an opportunity to meet the visionary, an opportunity to meet the publisher, an opportunity to meet the contributing authors in person and have them share their stories in person. So there's a lot going on. It's an opportunity for networking. So if you're in the area and you're interested in coming, hit Miss Inez up, or you can hit me up on payprovpublishing.com or LaQuita at affailtocommunicate.com, and we can get you in the house.
That's right.
It will be wonderful. So let me ask you a question. As we, time sure does fly when we're having fun.
Hey.
What do you want people to get from your story, from this whole project? Since you were the visionary, what do you want people to get from this project?
That you don't have to keep quiet about yourself. That, even though you may not put it out there for the World Wide Web to see, hear, whatever, you have a story. You're not here by just, happenstance. You're here because you have something in you to tell. You just don't know it. And I didn't, well, I knew I had something in me, but we won't say what it was, but into a, but, you know, you don't have to be this world renowned person to have a book. I'm a bestseller now 3 times, twice international. And it's like, it's a good feeling. It's like, what? And add that to your repertoire, to your resume. And it's like, you do what? Say what? And you know, and it's just those little baby steps that you could do. I mean, I loved to write poetry when I was in school. And you know, I didn't think that I was all that in a bag of chips, but my mom did poetry. I think I followed in her footsteps because she had books as well, and she wrote poetry, and she did all these amazing things as a mother. But I myself and the people who I know, I want you to know that you are not alone in your journey. There are other people out there in the same, you know, journey as you. You could be that same person who got their ears burnt. You can identify. You could be that same person who, you know, be like Miss LaQuita, who might have one leg, you know, one size, another leg, another size. You just don't know until you read somebody else's story and identify. It's just that simple. It's just like math. 1 + 1 = 2. You didn't know that until the teacher told you. And so this is, you know, this is the same thing in English. Write it down, you know. What they say, write the vision, make it plain. You know, and that you may not think it's anything, but it's something to somebody. It's like, oh, grandma wrote this. Her grandson, didn't your grandson write a book?
My grandson did. Amir's busy day at the zoo, and he just had his first book signing at Ebenezer Baptist Church.
And how old is he?
And he's 7.
Hello? Well, how old is he?
7 years old.
7 at Ebenezer Baptist Church. And where's Ebenezer Baptist Church, and whose church was that?
Georgia. And you guys know Ebenezer Baptist Church.
And that's what I'm saying. So, you know, little people can write books too. They don't have to be crazy. They could be 8, 9 pages, but it's their book. It's their words on paper. It's their, you know, their heart. It's them. You know, let them be creative. Put a pencil in, you know, in their hand, put something in their hand and have them start. Baby, how do you feel today? Well, we're telling Timmy's week, and Timmy was not happy today because on Tuesday, Timmy was happy because the sun came out and Puff Puff, his dog, came and played with him. You never know, you know. I'm just saying, you know, I'm just being crazy.
Absolutely, I know what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
You know, so, you know, don't be afraid or ashamed to put yourself out there, you know, because there are other people out there just like you, who may not think that they're all that in the bag of chips, but you're more than the bag of chips. You are history. Your body has a story, and your body has a story.
Yes. You heard it here from Miss Inez. So Miss Inez, tell them, and I'm going to put it on the screen. So tell them tell the people how they can reach you.
Holla. Oh. You can find me on Facebook under Anais Valcourt, ANAISEVALCOUR, or same on Instagram. On LinkedIn, I think I'm under Inez Brown. I don't even know. On Threads, on TikTok. But if you want to call me, I'll put my number out there because it's a business number, 813-900-7911. If you want to email me, say, hey, Miss Inez, I'm interested in blah, 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 blah. The email address is ANAISEVALCOUR designs, DESIGNS@gmail.com. And if you don't have it now, you can always go to my Facebook and hook you up. And if you want to get in touch with Miss LaQuita Parks, I don't know, can we see this again? It's recorded and going to be out there in the World Wide Web?
Yes, they'll be
Okay.
able to see it. It's live now on Facebook and
Okay.
LinkedIn, and then it'll be on. We're live right now on YouTube.
Hey, I'm a YouTube baby.
Yes, so they can. We'll send it out. So, listen, thank you so much, Inez.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank you for
for
just being you. Thank you for being you. Somebody I can call and be silly with, and call and cry on your shoulder. And I appreciate the support. I do. I do. Sometimes your girl be feeling it.
yes. And
And
it's
I
crazy how
appreciate
we
it.
met. It's crazy how
Yeah.
we met, but that's another story.
That's another story. Exactly. So I'll see you on Saturday.
Yes, ma'am.
At the Everybody Has a Story. Everybody Has a Story book launch. You have to reach out to us if you want to get access. But it'll be in Forest Park, Georgia. So reach out to us if you want to get access. Also, if you want to reach me, you can reach me at payprovpublishing.com. payprovpublishing.com. Okay. And if you have questions and you want to email, you can email me at LaQuita@afailure2communicate.com. And so remember, your story matters. 100% of everybody living and dead has a story. The only
Exactly.
stories that we cannot heal from are the ones that we don't share. So, Miss Inez, it has been a plump, pleasing pleasure. Better than a triple decker peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I am your host, Dr. LaQuita Parks, and this has been another beautiful episode of My Heart on Pages with none other than visionary Miss Inez.
And write your comments. And if you want to hear from us, please holla.
Absolutely. And
I
listen,
love
reach
you.
out to her and get your autographed copy. And then when you read the book, reach out to the authors and give feedback. Connect with them. Tell them your story. We've
Mhm.
told you ours. Now you tell us yours.
That's
All right.
right. Everybody has a story, and everybody has a story. You got to read it to know what the story is.
Amen and amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello and welcome to My Heart on Pages. I'm your host, Dr. LaQuita Parks, author, publisher, and founder of Pay Pro V Publishing, where we take stories from a thought to realization. This podcast is a sacred space for storytellers, overcomers, and visionaries who have chosen to turn pain into purpose and purpose into legacy. Here, we have real conversations about faith, resilience, healing, and the power of putting your heart on paper. Because your story is not random, it is intentional, and it deserves to be told. Welcome to My Heart on Pages.